Good morning, everyone. I'm Melanie Willoughby, and I am the Executive Director of the New Jersey Business Action Center, who is hosting our webinar this morning with RetireReady NJ. The New Jersey Business Action Center is an agency, part of the New Jersey Department of State, and we work with businesses to serve them and provide them with the services and benefits that the state government provides. And one of those benefits is RetireReady NJ, which is why we're very pleased to have them with us today. I am recording this so that if you miss any part of it today, you'll be able to get a recording of the event, and also the slides will also be available. I'd like to introduce Todd Hassler. He is the Executive Director of RetireReady NJ, which is New Jersey's retirement solution for citizens who are not covered by an employer-sponsored retirement plan. Prior to joining the state, he served as the senior investigator with the U.S. Department of Labor's Employee Benefit Security Administration and has more than 25 years of experience in the retirement services industry, designing, implementing, and managing retirement benefit plans. He has degrees in accounting, human performance management, and a master's degree in human resource development from Villanova University. Prior to joining the state, as I indicated, he had been a senior investigator, but now he brings to this job a great deal of experience, and I'd now like to turn it over to Todd Hassler.
Thank you, Melanie. And I appreciate the review of my career. While it's flattering, it's a little bit much. That's not really our focus for today. Once again, my name's Todd Hassler. I'm Executive Director for RetireReady. The focus of our conversation today will be discussing the RetireReady program. That is really the award winner here for us all, and really something that's going to be offered and available for all of your employees so that they can begin preparing for retirement and have the same dignities that everyone else wants when they go into retirement. Just part of our introduction, what's probably most important here is our contact information. I'm going to highlight two areas on here. First, on the right-hand side, you'll see that we're on social media. You can look us up under RetireReady NJ, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Please pick us up on there, follow us. There's a lot of good information out there that we post on a regular basis. Questions come in during and after these webinars, and we try to make sure that we capture that and get it out to the larger employer community and the employee community as well, so that they can be kept abreast of the advancements and changes within the program. Additionally, down at the bottom, you'll see for your assistance, the employer assistance line and the savers assistance line. You'll be getting the slides later on. Please feel free to jot them down as well, especially for this audience. The employer assistance number 855-929-4387. This is a team within our service provider who is dedicated to service you, to help you through the process of registering and becoming a RetireReady employer. With that being said, one other housekeeping item. We're going to ask that during the presentation, if you have questions, we don't want you to forget them. They're important. So please put them into the chat, send them over to Chuck Valenga or Johanna Colapinto. Either of them will get it. They'll answer the question or ask the question, and we'll give you an answer on the call today. If we can't get to all of the questions, we will definitely circle back and make sure we get an answer on. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and do our agenda here for today. Our agenda is really going to be focused on on what retirement is, the history of retirement, the realities of our landscape, our missions here with RetireReady, and the points that are important for you. Who is covered by the program? There are mandated individuals, the responsibilities you'll have, the benefits you'll appreciate, and what you need to do. So it should be a relatively quick discussion, but a lot of useful information for you. So moving right into our presentation, I always find it to be helpful to start with something that we can all agree on. And I think that one of these points is we all want to retire. Our vision of retirement is going to be different based on who you are, and what your vision of retirement was really growing up. A lot of these visions come from social media these days, also the television. And on your screen, you'll see some pictures of what we see for retirement. And these are all pictures that were developed by our team here. Your list of retirement expectations could be different. It probably is. But it's what you see for retirement. But retirement is this period of time in general where we're going to be able to do the things that we want to do. For me, I just had my first grandchild, being able to spend time with my grandchildren, going on adventures, traveling, doing the things that we enjoy doing, gardening, spending time with friends. These are the golden years. This is what we have been led to expect and want for our retirement. The challenge for that is that retirement isn't something that just happens. It's something that needs to be developed. We need to prepare for retirement. And that's a challenge that at least 50% of the state here in New Jersey actually deals with. The reality of our retirement landscape across the United States is about 46% of the citizens across the United States do not have access to a retirement savings plan or a retirement plan in general. So if we think about this, this is half the nation, half of the workers out there who are working for small businesses. They don't have a way to save for retirement. They have to figure this out on their own. It's a challenge that your employees face, and you may be facing on your own. New Jersey is a very good cross sample of all the other states. We're actually at the same disparity level. 46% of our citizens, or roughly 1.6 million people here in New Jersey, don't have access to a retirement program in the private sector. So what does this mean? This means that they don't have a mechanism to save for retirement. It's not automated. They don't have the support of a fiduciary actually giving them guidance, making sure the investments are proper and appropriate. I was an investigator, as Melanie had said, for the United States Department of Labor. I can, I'd be happy to go, dive into the requirements of a fiduciary, but a fiduciary is very important. It gives a saver the ability to have confidence in the investment vehicle. Half of our state doesn't have access to these benefits, and that's a problem. That means half of the state, we can bring it down to you. Half of your friends, your family, nieces, nephews, children's, and so forth, do not have access to a retirement savings program, and they're in it alone. What happens to many of these individuals who don't have access to a retirement vehicle? They're left with Social Security. And Social Security is a good benefit. I really hope that it's maintained and is, because we've all been paying into it all these years as part of our normal payroll processes within your organization and ours. I really hope it's maintained and it continues to be solvent and supported. But the reality of Social Security is it's not a fix for everything. To begin with, having worked for the federal government, I can tell you they're very forthcoming in Social Security Administration. Social Security retirement benefits were only ever intended to replace about 40% of your retirement income. So the day you go into retirement, the day you stop working, if you do not have retirement savings, if you do not have a retirement benefit, your paycheck is cut by 60%. That's the expectation under Social Security. That's a hard reality, but it's a reality that 23% of our citizens here in New Jersey face. That means that a quarter of all our retirees present are living off 40%, 1/4, 40% of what their income was the day before they went into retirement. It's a dramatic cut in income for a retiree here in New Jersey and really anywhere in the nation. We worry about the cost of eggs. That's been a discussion point for the last several months. The rate of inflation. Social Security is very similar to this. When you go into Social Security, you're going to see that paycheck get cut. It's going to get cut very quickly. And that's something that 23% of our citizens face because they didn't save for retirement. They didn't have a vehicle to prepare them for retirement. Our mission here with RetireReady is to bridge that gap. Is to level the playing field, give everyone the ability to save and prepare for a dignified retirement. Some of our expectations is we want this to be affordable. We want it to be reliable, it should work and continue to work consistently and be easy to use, not only for the employer, but for the employee. It's something that should mimic a normalized retirement program that's been developed in the private sector. They work well, we know this. And that's what we're trying to introduce here in New Jersey, is a vehicle for everyone else who does not have that private program. As I said earlier, there are companies that are mandated to participate in RetireReady. These companies, they're easy to identify. In fact, if you're one of them, we've most likely mailed you a letter. You may have received more than one from us. These are companies registered to do business in New Jersey. They do not have a retirement program and they have at least 25 employees. So if that sounds like you would be covered by our mandate and you would be expected to register and allow employees to save through RetireReady. For smaller employers, they have the option. So if you have 24 or less employees, you can choose to participate or not to participate in the program. There is no cost to the employers, but the question we always get asked is, does a smaller employer have to? What I'll be challenging the audience with today is, why wouldn't you? We work with our employees. I have my staff here, and I can tell you that we every day live with our employees and care about them and care for them. This is a very simple product that's being put out there to give them access to retirement vehicles with quality investments that give them the ability to save for those retirement dreams that we spoke about earlier. The beauty of our program is you will not be a fiduciary. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I know that we all want our employees to have that same dignified retirement. We all want them to be able to prepare and see them grow and be successful. It's their choice. They can save with us or not, but making sure that your employees have access to the resources so they can save, I know is important to many people here, and most likely you, because you're on the call. The next question we get asked always is, who can save? If you've ever run a retirement program before, there are specific people who are excluded from retirement savings. That's a sad reality, but that is a reality under the Employee Retirement Income Securities Act. You are allowed to exclude specific populations. Under RetireReady, we have no such exclusions. So if you are a covered employer or you choose to participate, as long as your employee is 18 years old, they live and work in New Jersey, they're eligible to participate. We don't care if they're full-time, part-time, seasonal, they have the ability to save. And that's a good thing. They'll be able to put money away, a little bit out of each paycheck, and prepare for that retirement. I just had the conversation this morning with a young man here in our office. He just bought his first car, and that's fantastic. If I had asked him to make that purchase in cash, he probably couldn't do it for several years. Retirement's very similar. Individuals need to save a lot of money to be able to retire with dignity, whether it's here in New Jersey or anywhere else. Being able to make those small payments, especially at a younger age. 18 years old, these are the people we would really like to see start participating, making those small deposits. Even a $5 contribution gives them the ability at a $15 an hour rate. We'll talk about that a little bit, to have a retirement future, to have that dream, because we don't know that we're all going to get sick. We do know that we'll all be retiring at some point, and having that money put aside is very important. So if they're 18 years old, they live and work in New Jersey, they're eligible to save under our program. As I said earlier, the process of saving for retirement is more of a marathon than it is a sprint. This arrangement here with RetireReady gives individuals the ability to save and be successful. One of the tools that we have on our site is a retirement calculator. This is a really powerful tool. A lot of people look at it and say, oh, it's great. We can take a look at it and see where we'll be. It does a couple different things, though. For the beginning saver, it shows, hey, look, my first contribution, maybe it's $5. And that could be a reality, $6, under the example that we have up here. $6 a week, that's a cup of coffee. But that first $6 that goes into a retirement account is the first step on that marathon towards retirement. And your employees have the ability to track that. Say, okay, well, it's only $6. That's one way of looking at it. Or you could say it's my first $6. And that $6 will actually develop into larger and larger amounts. We can see this on the example here. So it gives them a track. It says, hey, yeah, this is only $6 today, but if you continue down the path, if you continue saving, this is what you'll be able to appreciate in the future. Along with that, this example here does also demonstrate the power of retirement savings. Under this arrangement, an individual who went into retirement, if they did not save for retirement, would be looking at 40% of the replacement value of income. So if they're making $15 an hour, that's $6 an hour when they go into retirement. And that's not a sustainable income for anyone. By saving into RetireReady, they'll have a whole nother bucket of money. 500 in this example, the individual saving $6 a week. When they go into retirement, if nothing changes, they're looking at $580. Now, we all know that people will make more money. The economy is going to continue to grow. This individual could expect more than this, but this is the projection for them. And that added in with Social Security gets them very close to the amount of money that people or that the industry says that we need to have for retirement. In fact, based on our calculations, they fall short under this example by, I believe, $150. That's a great example. 1% for this individual makes all the difference in the world. So getting your employees to save, making it available for them, puts them on a track where they can be successful. And like I said, the younger they are, the more important it is for them to get started and get that retirement income account established and developing for them. For the employers, there's also a lot of benefits for you. I love this slide because here at RetireReady, this is the Ben Franklin of slides. This is the great compromise between me and my deputy, Charles. Because there's a point on here, having been an investigator is very important. And I'm going to go through the first part of it. It is that as an employer under RetireReady, you're not the program administrator. This is a real benefit for you. You don't have to educate your staff. You don't have to administer the program. You don't have to do any of that. You're going to do payroll. The rest of that falls to us. We'll be reaching out to your employees. We'll be making sure they get statements. We'll be tracking them down. If they leave your organization and move somewhere else, we'll track them down and find their addresses. That's our responsibility. We're the program administrator. You have enough to do in running your business. And if you wanted to run a retirement program, you'd be doing that. So you shouldn't feel as though this is your responsibility, it's our responsibility. You're not going to make matching contributions. It'd be really nice. We will all like to see matching contributions going into these programs, but the Internal Revenue Service doesn't allow it, and you're not required to do it. That would create all sorts of other problems for you, not to mention it's another expense for you. And there's enough expenses out there for the small business owners. If that's not something that you wanted to do, then you shouldn't feel compelled or forced into it. That's why Retire Ready doesn't allow you to do it. Additionally, you're not the program fiduciary. This is our great compromise here. I think it's also an employer benefit. It's one of the things that you won't be doing, though, for certain. You're not the fiduciary. You're not selecting the investments. You're not going through and examining the investments on a regular basis. You're not selecting the record keepers. When mistakes are made, they're not going to come to you and say, hey, this mistake is your fault. You got to fix it. Where's your checkbook? That's our responsibility. We are the program fiduciaries. We have a board of directors. We have committees set up to analyze the performance of the investments, the service providers. That's all of our duties. You don't need to take that on. You'll hear out there that you have to open up a retirement plan. If that's not true, you do not need to open a retirement plan. You're welcome to do it to exempt out of Retire Ready. Under Retire Ready, we're just going to be another payroll deduction for you. And that thought, that issue there, that point is something I think really falls under the employer benefits. You're not administering this program, and the steps that you need to take are a simple payroll integration. So what that means is once the individual is enrolled in our program, you'll be taking out a payroll deduction out of their paycheck and transmitting it through to us. No different than unemployment, no different than Social Security. So this is just a new feature for your payroll team or your payroll process. You can also use Retire Ready as a tool to attract and retain employees. We've met with several other chambers. One of them was the Early Child Care on Education authorities. Some of the statistics coming out of there were astounding, and it really opened our eyes to what's occurring in the employer-employee community right now. Small employers in New Jersey, you're really challenged to keep the top talent. There's a lot of big box stores out there. They have all sorts of benefit programs. I actually worked on many of them when I was in the industry, and it's hard to compete. You're not a multi-billion-dollar organization or multi-trillion-dollar organization that has endless resources. And attracting and retaining your talent is very critical. Retire Ready eliminates one of the stresses. It gives your employees the ability to save. For the Early Child Care and Education Association, we found that 30% of their employees, of the employees covered under those employers, were considering leaving because they did not have the ability to save for retirement. And that was shocking, that it had that profound of an effect on an employee's decision to stay with their employer, doing something that they very well may love, or going out and finding alternative employment so that they could address this issue in their personal life. This is a need that you have the ability, whether you're a mandated employer or a smaller employer, to address with your organization at no cost to you. And that's really one of our biggest points here with Retire Ready. We are a no-cost program. You're not going to be hiring a service provider. You're not going to be hiring an attorney to help you set up the program. You're not going to be paying an investment advisor. You're not going to be doing your filings. This is all our work. This is our work to do. you have enough to do as a small employer here in New Jersey. You don't need to take on the additional responsibilities unless you want to. Don't feel compelled by somebody to say you have to open it up. You do not need to open up a retirement program. You can choose to do that. That's great. That's a decision that you can make as an employer, or you can participate under Retire Ready and get many of the same benefits for your employees that you would appreciate under a conventional private retirement program. Moving on to what is required. So I keep putting this number up on multiple slides, and my poor team has to keep hearing me ask to have it put up again. I'm going to put the employer assistance number up here again. It's 855-929-4387. Please write it down. This is the number to help all the employers here in New Jersey get registered with Retire Ready. It's really the first step. So in the action checklist that we have, the first step for all employers in New Jersey is to get registered. If you're a small employer, 24 employees or less, if you didn't get a letter from us, or maybe you threw it out, give a call to that number. They'll help you get registered right away. It's very quick and easy, and you'll be able to get your employees set up so that they can start saving right away. Once you're registered on RetireReady.NJ.gov, which, by the way, is a pretty simple process. I've worked on the pilot companies. If you have an online account anywhere, you can work through this process. Once you are registered, you have your account set up, you're going to need to upload your employees' information. This is pretty straightforward. It's their name, social security number, information of that nature. It will load into our systems, and then we'll do the outreach. We're going to contact your employees, and we're going to tell them about the program. And the savers are going to receive a letter to begin with, whether it'll either go out via email or physical mail, depending on the information that you upload. It's going to tell them about our process. We have an auto enrollment process. This is very similar to any newly established retirement program. The federal government is requiring newly established programs to go through a similar process. Our program is set up that your employees will be defaulted into a 3% savings rate. Their money will be placed into a Roth IRA, and we'll put them into a target date fund. This is a fund that is used really throughout the industry. It's the standard for all 401k programs or private deferred compensation programs as a default mechanism. It's a fund that will actually change over time based on the age of the individual and their expected retirement age at 65. Here at Retire Ready, we were able to go out and negotiate and get all institutional class investments. So this was a great achievement for the program and really for the savers, because they're gaining access to investment qualities that they could not personally get on their own. In fact, most small retirement plans could not get the investments that we were able to secure. These are the same products that you would see in ultra large organizations like FedEx and so forth. Our defaults are the program defaults. These are statutory. This is what an individual will be defaulted into. They have 30 days to change them, or they become effective and will be communicated out to you. We do recognize that not everybody wears the same size shoe. So our defaults may not be the appropriate ones for all individuals' savers. So they can go out and change that. Maybe they want to save more. They go through the retirement calculator and say, hey, I really should be saving a little bit more, and they want to increase that to 5%. Maybe they want to reduce it. Maybe it's too much for them right now. We do strongly suggest that they at least start with one. Start with that 1%. Get your foot in the door. Get that retirement savings account established. We have some great features on our site where they'll be able to turn on auto escalation that will turn up their retirement savings by 1% each year and help ease them into the water when they're first getting acclimated. After the 30-day window has closed, they'll be able to, or you'll receive a report from RetireReady. They'll come out via email letting you know you have individuals who want to save. At that point, you'll take back over and update your payroll. You'll be submitting your payroll through normal payroll deductions. So that will be a set percent of the employee's gross wages. They'll be deducted as an after-tax deduction and submitted through our RetireReady NJ portal, which is all on the same login. The only other thing that you'll need to do in order to offer the program to your employees is update your information. The reality of it is not everyone is going to stay working for you their entire career. So if somebody leaves, you want to make sure that they're marked as separated from you. That will make sure that you won't receive additional notifications. Maybe they go work for another RetireReady employer. You don't want to see the information continuing to update on your systems if you don't need to. Conversely, if you have a new employee, you want to update them. You want to get their information on there as quickly as possible. That will give them the ability to start saving. It not only gives them the ability to save, but it shows that you as an employer care about them. You're thinking about them, and you want them to have the access to the same features as the rest of your employees. The payroll process itself is very dynamic here in New Jersey. So I'm sure on this call right now, we have about 20 different attendees, and I'll be willing to bet that there's at least 19 different methods of doing payroll. You may be doing it yourself. You may have it completely outsourced to somebody else, or somewhere in the middle. Our program is very dynamic. It's set up so that it really can facilitate the smallest employer's needs and the largest employer's needs. So depending on who you're working with as a payroll vendor, or if you're doing it on your own, you could be going through a few different processes. Our website, I'm going to have Johanna go out to our website here. There is a portal out there for you under the employer portal. And if you select down, you'll see information for employers. You can just scroll down to the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. We wanted to go into the payroll information for payroll providers, pardon me. And if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that there is information for your payroll vendor. In some cases, you're doing it yourself. So you'll use the Excel spreadsheets on the right-hand side. These are very straightforward. You're going to be loading in the individual social security number, their name, their address. And then when you're submitting contributions, it'll be their social security number and the contribution. If you have a payroll vendor, you may want to make them a partner. There is the ability on your registered account to add team members. And this would be your payroll vendor. A lot of times you have a CPA who does this. They'll have the ability to log in. They can process these transactions and upload the forms and coordinate the deposits for you. In other instances, there are companies that have full payroll integration. These individuals, there are a lot of different methods to do it, but these payroll vendors have the ability to actually transmit data back and forth between us. It's completely automated. You would never touch it, but that's something that they would be able to facilitate for you. You would have to talk to your payroll vendor or whoever's doing your payroll for you to see what is the best solution, which one fits best for you. As we move into the conclusion of our presentation today, the next point is what to expect. The program has passed its cutoff dates for the initial registration process. This is a period where we've asked all the employers to engage and get registered. We aren't in any type of enforcement action area or timing right now. what this is it gave the employers the ability to register with us and go through the process of getting onboarded. Now our team is actually in the process of doing outreach. We're engaging the employers who did not register. And maybe they're exempt, maybe they just haven't had an opportunity to register yet. There's a lot of reasons why this has occurred. They're considering other options. We are actively identifying the employers and engaging them, asking them to get registered, and if not, go through the exemption process and help them find solutions on what may be preventing them from getting registered. But we did want all the employers actually registered by November the 15th. So if you are a mandated employer, we are asking you to get out there, get registered. If you have not registered and you're considering opening up a plan, you would need to do that before you could submit an exemption. We do need you to have a program in place here as soon as possible. The next step really is to follow this process of registration. You can do that on RetireReady.NJ.gov. We have a QR code here that you can scan and get yourself out there. John, if you go out to the webpage once again, as an employer registering, if you go under the employer portal, or on the top toolbar right there, I'm sorry, we have it, register now. You can go in and complete your registration. It's a pretty straightforward process. You're going to need your employer identification number and an access code. If you did not get an access code, maybe you don't have 25 employees, you can give a call over to the employer assistance number. Once again, that is 855-929-4387. They'll be able to get you set up. If you threw it away, I do this all the time. Mail comes in, it looks like it's junk mail, I throw it out. You can select on the button there saying, I do not have my access code. It'll walk you through the process of reclaiming that. You could also call the employer assistance number if you prefer to work through that way. With that being said, I'm going to hand it off to Chuck Valenga and Johanna. See if there's any questions out there. We can work through the questions and hopefully we can get some answers out to you today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Todd. So if you have a question, there's a couple ways you can give it to us. There is the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. You can type a question there. You can also, in the chat, send me a question, me, Charles Valenga, and I'll read those out. We have one question so far. If you already have a retirement program now, can you switch to RetireReady NJ, having over 40 part-time employees?
Sure. So we never encourage people to terminate your retirement program. That's what we're talking about here. I will say, I've worked in the industry for a very long time. Companies do that. It's a decision that you make. An example, recently at conference, somebody came up to me and said, hey, no one's saving into my program. I fail the testing each year, and I'm not even getting contributions up to the limits of an IRA. Can I terminate my program and move over? Absolutely. You can do that. It's a settler decision. If you chose to terminate your program, there's a lot of reasons why you may do that. It could be cost, it could be administrative demands, it could be you just don't get the participation rate. That's a choice that you could make. And if you did that, we would be happy to accept your employees. You can enroll them, you can register with us, enroll them, and they can begin saving. What we ask that you not do is is to register with us prior to terminating your program. You should not be doing that. It creates a lot of different problems. You can have somebody saving into us when they should be getting their matching contribution. That's a problem. So you don't want to register with us prior to making that decision and actually giving notification to your employees, hey, I'm terminating and we're going to switch over to RetireReady. If you do choose to do that, if you do choose to terminate your program, your employees can actually roll their assets over. So this is always a problem in the industry. It's something that I focused on specifically in the Department of Labor. Companies will terminate their retirement program and they forget that they have to distribute all the assets. Employees are left, they don't know what to do with the assets. RetireReady is here. We're able to help them with this. They can roll their money over. It'll go into an individual account for them. They'll get quality investments with us. We will serve as their fiduciary, make sure that they receive their benefits and keep track of the assets for them. These are all features that they'll still get with us. The big thing though is they'll have that centralized account as opposed to seeing their money spread across the nation. And that's a real problem with retirement programs. When they do get terminated, you find that you'll have an IRA here, an IRA there. Being able to centralize it's a huge advantage for the employees. We'd be happy to help you with that if you do end up making that decision.
Okay, next question. Do my employees have to live in New Jersey? I have several who do not.
Great question. So if they don't have to live in New Jersey, they have to have New Jersey income. So if they're getting taxed under New Jersey's income rate, then they would be eligible. I'm going to use Delaware as an example because they're an active state as well. If you have an employee who lives and is taxed on their income in Delaware, then they would qualify for the Delaware program. So it's going to ultimately depend. It's going to depend where they're at. And for you, the easy question is, what income tax are they paying? Are they paying New Jersey or are they paying somewhere else?
Great. This question about contribution limits. Are the accounts either Roth or traditional IRA only, and therefore limited to the standard IRA maximums? For example, $7,000 in 2024.
Correct. So these are IRAs. This is no different than any other IRA in the land, other than we're serving as a facilitator to get all of the accounts opened under a singular umbrella. So these are individual retirement accounts, no different than any other retirement accounts out there. The limits are dictated by the Internal Revenue Service, the Treasury Department ultimately, the United States Treasury Department. So this year, an individual is only eligible to save up to $7,000 unless they're 50 or older, in which case they can save up to $8,000. They can save, our default is Roth. They can save on a pre-tax basis. Once again, this is an IRA. So for the employers here, this is actually a pretty neat feature. You're not taking the money out differently for an employee who saves Roth versus pre-tax. It's coming out exactly the same. And I'll talk to that in a little bit, but it's going to come out exactly the same. You're not going to have to say, well, John's saving pre-tax, so I have to calculate all his pre-tax and take the money out pre-tax. They all come out as an after-tax deduction. They all get deposited into their corresponding individual retirement accounts, whether it's a traditional or a Roth. And if they're eligible for tax benefits under a traditional IRA, they claim that when they file their taxes at the end of the year. So they can save pre-tax, but they will be limited to the standard contributions mandated by the U.S. Treasury Department.
All right. This is a more complicated question. I have under 24 employees. I have an SEP that is maxed out. My accountant tells me I need to offer a plan to my employees if I want to contribute more to my SEP. Would this program, RetireReady NJ, qualify so I can contribute more to my SEP?
So you have a self-employed pension, and there's a lot of different, you have a lot of different variations of these out there. So I'm going to say it depends. And I would strongly encourage you to work with, I think you said your accountant on this. I would strongly encourage you because they're going to have more intimate details. If you are not offering a retirement program universally to your staff, if that SEP is only available to you, then you would need to register with us so that your employees have the ability to save for retirement. Now, you have 24 employees or less, so it is an option for you as opposed to the 25 or more mandated. If in that instance, you would have the ability to say, hey, look, I only have 24 employees. I'm not mandated. I'm not doing anything. My question to you would be why? You know, it really doesn't help you as a small employer here in New Jersey. Competing for employee resources in this marketplace is a very challenging reality. Being the one company out of the pool, not being able, or not your employees not having the ability to save for retirement through a program as simple as this, where you're not doing compliance testing, you're not doing filings, you're not doing, it really doesn't make too much sense, but that would be a decision for you. So you're not mandated if you have 24 or more or 24 or less employees. The SEP issue is going to be a little bit of a wild card because there's a lot of variations to those programs, and without having the specific details of it, I would be inclined to refer you back to your accountant or financial advisor to give you more guidance on that. What my suggestion would be is if you're not offering retirement to your employees, you know, offer it through RetireReady. It's going to be quick, simple, and free. You're not going to have to worry about the auditor coming through or the investigator coming through and examining your program. You're not going to have to do filings. You're not going to have to hire advisors and so forth. It's just going to be a very easy way for your employees to get used to saving for retirement. And then, hey, in the future, maybe they all save into RetireReady and you feel that you're at a point that you want to offer a retirement program. You have a community of employees who want to save, they'll utilize the program. You're not going to fail testing. And the ancillary benefit, they can roll their money from RetireReady into your newly established 401k. And you don't start off with investor grade investments. You'll be able to start off with more quality investments for the program. I know that was a long, it depends, but there's a lot of nuances to that
All right. Can the employers access our slides so they can brief our employees? Now, that may be a question for Lauren. I understand that, or Melanie.
Yes. Hold on. Yes. Yeah. Yes. They will be able to access the slides because they are chock full of valuable information. So we will be providing them to everyone who participated today.
Great. Thank you. There are no other questions in the Q&A. Give folks a minute. If you have any further questions, go ahead and click that Q&A button at the bottom and type one in there. We can get to your question. While they're waiting, Todd, maybe just one more time address the fact that the main deadlines have passed and what should employers do if they are required to register?
Sure. So the first thing I would encourage employers to do right now is if they do not have their access code, give a call to the employer assistance number. The number is 855-929-4387. Give a call, find out if they're on the mandated list. They'll be able to, that's our service provider, Vestwall. They'll be able to say yes or no right on that phone call. If you are not mandated and you would like to participate with RetireReady, they're going to be able to walk you through that registration process right there on the phone. They're going to be able to help you out that moment. What I would also encourage everybody to do You probably have received notification from investment advisors and salespeople encouraging you to open up a retirement program. Think about it. Retirement programs are not bad, but they are a lot of work. I've worked on these from every aspect, from designing them to implementing them to being the fiduciary myself, and even an investigator for the Department of Labor, looking at these for fiduciary failures and fraud and dishonesty. And things go wrong. And administering one of these programs, if something goes wrong, you're on the hook. You're the one who's going to be asked to fix it. And that's not for everybody. Some people are ready for it. They want to take it on. It's something that's in their business plan. That's great, because it's a great benefit for your employees when you can give them a match. You can afford to make that matching contribution or retirement contribution. But if you're not at that point, don't feel that you have to open up a retirement program. If you're mandated by RetireReady, this is no different than Social Security or unemployment. You'll be making a payroll deduction and submitting it through on behalf of the employee. Everything thereafter is our responsibility. So if they want to make a change in their payroll deduction, they're going to contact us. If they have a question about the investment, they're going to contact us. If something goes wrong, they're going to contact us, not you. You're not the fiduciaries of this program. So it's a great tool for the small employers to give them the ability to allow their employees to save for retirement and not take on the administrative burdens of offering a retirement program, not taking on the fiduciary responsibilities and risks of offering a retirement program. So those are the things that we would strongly encourage you to take into consideration. Give a call over to our employer assistance number. Once again, 855-929-4387. They'll walk you through the process. They'll talk to you about your payroll process. They may already have a solution in place for you. Some of the payroll vendors that are out there have fully integrated, so it's literally a push of a button to make that happen.
So thank you so much, Todd, and for the entire RetireReady New Jersey team who participated today to bring you this webinar. It was chock full of necessary information to make your life simpler in providing a retirement program for your employees, which is absolutely critical. So I really want to thank you, and we will be sending out the slides. And if you have any questions, you can just call the number that Todd provided, which was once again, Todd?
855-929-4387.
For any further questions that you might have. And so this is Melanie Willoughby with the New Jersey Business Action Center, which is your agency to help you with providing the services and benefits that state government actually has to offer. We don't tax you. We don't provide you with regulatory responsibilities. Instead, we provide you with services and benefits. And so we thank you very, very much for your time today, and have a great holiday.